So over the last few years, we've all noticed an increase in illegal migrants trying to hop on the back of lorries in Calais to come over to the UK. You've been here for 10 years now at EM Rogers. What's it been like for you over the last 10 years?
Well, there's always been a problem with immigrants, but it's certainly sort of the last maybe 2 or 3 years it's getting an awful lot worse. I mean, when I first started going abroad, there was the immigrants, but they weren't nowhere near as ruthless as they are now. They're not as desperate, if you like. Your biggest worry was parking up around Calais at night. You had to avoid that because they're trying to sneak in while you're asleep. But now, I mean, certainly in the last 2 years, definitely, it seems the immigrants have changed from being from Middle Eastern descent to more African descent, and they're just more ruthless. They're trying it all day long, every day. During broad daylight, there's far more of them working together, whereas before it was sort of 2s or 3s. Now it's like groups of even 30. Like working together, trying to get in a truck. Some of them will be at the front, slowing you down, trying to stop you. So then the rest of them can be at your trailer while you stopped. It's becoming a massive problem.
I mean, what is the situation over there like at the moment?
It's getting a very dangerous place to drive through. Whereas it should be quite a safe haven. You're only trying to catch your ferry home at the end of the week. It always used to be a bit of a haven. Calais, you reach Calais, you were nearly home, but now you sort of dread going there because of this problem. And it's not. The more it carries on, the more it gets out of hand, the worse the problem's going to get.
I mean, you described to me earlier that it's like a war zone.
It can be at times, it's not a war zone in respect. There's obviously not tanks and mortars flying around, but it's starting with the way there's different groups standing at the side, and they're chucking rocks, bottles, bits of wood at your truck, trying to get you to stop. Definitely, it shouldn't be. You shouldn't have to put up with that when you're only trying to go about your daily job. It's wrong, really.
I mean, so as an example, if you'd driven up to the port in Calais,
yeah,
what sort of thing would you be seeing?
Well, you'd have gangs at the side of the road down into Calais. It's a dual carriageway, but it's obviously you're coming into a busy ferry port. It's quite a slow road. At peak times, you have to go off through a diversion through the old hoverport, and there's just like gangs and gangs of them everywhere. There could be up to 200-300 people in the bushes and at the sides of the roads, on the verges. And as you're driving around this slow diversion, they're running at the trucks. As soon as the truck stops, they're at the back doors. I mean, even if it's moving at a walking pace, they're at the back doors trying to get it open, trying to climb in.
And could you show me some of the areas where you've seen?
I mean, the most risky areas, like if you parked up at night, they can climb on the roof. They'll cut the roof because that's obviously canvas. They'll cut the roof, go in. I mean, normally, if this was loaded, you'd have this cord through, which is steel inside and then plastic, but they can cut that. And then they have been known to cut it and then glue it back together. So there's no obvious signs that they've broken it. They've like things like that. Your spare wheel, they'll try and climb in behind that. You can see the axles on the trailer. They're trying to get under there. They've been known to cut the curtain open, climb in that way, like the buckles and stuff. They'll undo them. Any which way they can, really. They'll try. I mean, obviously, your back doors is a very obvious thing. But generally, if you're loaded coming through Calais, you keep these locked. You'll have your seal in, but
obviously they'll open them.
Yeah, they'll pick the padlocks and then relock them. I mean, I don't know if you can see here. Look, I mean that's been cut open before. It's any means they can, really.
Yeah. I mean, let's see what it looks like in the back. Just open it up. Yeah. But, obviously when it's full of load, they're able to get it. What are they trying to do?
If that's full of, say, boxes or something, they'll be sat on top of them and they'll be burying themselves in. If they're on there a long time, they go in toilet in there. They'll leave rubbish in there. Potentially they'll open boxes, see what's in it, steal some of the road.
I mean, it must be quite a scary experience for you seeing all this happening.
It is, yeah. I mean, you try not to think about it too much because if you went around thinking the worst all the time, you just wouldn't go to work in the morning. But yeah, it is. It is definitely. It's not safe like it should be. You don't feel safe going to get a ferry like you should do. It's yeah, it's not. It's.
And you fear it's going to get out of hand,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah. It's the way it's gradually getting worse. I mean, certainly in the last 2 years, it's sort of getting out of hand. And what's it going to be like in another 2 years? Is it going to be? You're just going to have to avoid Calais altogether.